The 2024 Olympics have come and gone, just like the dreams of the countries who wanted to win medals in Paris but came up short, like Nigeria. Maybe it's a moment for sober reflection, one to rue missed opportunities, and recalibrate for the future. That's our focus on Special Report.
The 2024 Olympics started not without controversy, such as the offense caused by the Lord's Supper parody, by the performers and other sore points with people around the world, and the Nigerian female basketball team not being on the boat with the Nigerian contingent at the opening ceremony, although plaudits were also rife on the assessments of the games. Nigeria had 88 members on her Olympic team, but from football to track and field, weightlifting and other sports, it was an uphill climb that didn't reach the summit. The female basketball team gave a good account of themselves and reached the quarterfinals, where they were eliminated by the United States. Kenya was the star of the show from the African continent with 11 medals, including 4 gold. Algeria had 2 gold medals. Ethiopia, Egypt, Tunisia, Botswana, Uganda, Morocco were all members of the gold medal club, with 1 apiece, including the silvers and bronzes from the other top 7 countries.
Your victory against Australia, how much it inspired the entire nation. It was like we had won the Olympics. And then you won Canada. And then you are qualified for tomorrow. This is big for our country. And I'm sure you read the president's message. Even the president himself has been forced to send a message to congratulate this team. So to our countrymen and women, you are the rave of the moment. And I need you all to seize this opportunity. I mean, I thank my friend, your president, Musa Kida, for his very untiring efforts. And you've gone through a lot. When you're in the camp, the various camps, every day he updates me with what is going on. A lot of us. Within the ministry, we're just trying to put together a system that can work. It's about the first time we're testing that system. It's not perfect yet, it's not 100%. You've had to cope with quite a lot. But you've done Nigeria proud. And it's important that I come and I visit you, no matter how briefly, to let you know, yes, you are competing. You are competing. Yes, the glory will also come first to you. But you are competing for country. That's what you are doing. See what we are going through now as we speak. There are ongoing demonstrations and protests against government. But I think that even those protests are being tempered by the successes that you are giving to Nigeria back in the Olympics. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. And as you compete tomorrow, the country is just going to stand, just going to wait. Watch and see that tomorrow's protest or whatever won't even be as much, because tomorrow is match day. Because tomorrow you all are going to take the center stage, competing for our country, competing for Nigeria. So I just like you to appreciate the enormity of what you carry, not to put any more pressure on you, but to motivate you to just realize how much it matters to our country.
Before the bubble burst, that was the aspiration of the Minister of Sports Development before the Paris Olympics, where the medal-less outcome was a far cry from the Atlanta 1996 record, which was Nigeria's best performance, where 2 golds, 1 silver and 3 bronze medals were won. As at the 14th day of the 2024 Olympics, all 14 male athletes and 18 female athletes for track and field crashed out.
That laid before the ministry and before me as Minister of Sports, I was come and said, way above average. Way above average. Everything that I had to do, I have done. Yes. Everything I have done. And I know the feedback that I received from within the ministry. And I mean, I have, okay, I'm not someone who is, I have no airs about me. And there are times in the build up to this, I sit in an office for 6-7 hours and pursuing something for the sake of sports and for the sake of these Olympics. I know what suggestions and advice that I've tried to get. Okay, when I came into Paris, one of the first that training grants, no need to pay to team sports. Team sports, it's basketball, football. And the first question I asked was, do you need budget for it? And the answer was yes. But that, well, just even in the past, we just budget, and I said, okay, give me a moment. And I called my permanent secretary and I said, you know what? That money, as long as we budgeted for it, we have to pay it. As long as we pay it. And those are the interventions that I've done. But what I also find, okay, I won't say so and it will not get done, isn't it? So it also has to do with leadership. And people are willing to follow if they have the right leadership. And I think every signal that I've tried to send since becoming sports is trying to send the right signal. Fortunately, I also have a permanent secretary who is also not different. So I believe that amidst whatever other challenges and issues, I believe from the point of view of the Ministry of Sports Development, I believe we are where we can lead that change that can give us results.
Team Nigeria also crashed out of badminton, singles, women's basketball, boxing, canoeing, cycling, women's football, table tennis singles, taekwondo, and wrestling. Sports enthusiasts prefer solutions.
First of all, if you look at the Tokyo Olympics and the Rio Olympics, you try and compare them to what has happened this year, you can say that the performances have not been very good. I think what it tells us is that Africa as a whole needs to do a little bit more in terms of development. The time and age of relying on people like Aruna Quadri, Omar Asa and co. seems to be gone past. I don't think Aruna will have another Olympics after this. So it gives us an opportunity in Africa to begin to work with younger players and try and get them up to the world ranking. We just completed the African Youth Championships in Botswana 2 weeks ago, and quite a number of young players are coming up, and the onus is on the ATTF through the member associations to see that there is a development plan for each of these new players that are coming up.
I think after this Olympics, we need to start preparing for the next Olympics from day one. Not when 2 years or a year to the time we start doing trial, and that is when we start looking for ready-made players. No, we need to consciously start preparation. All the riverine areas in Nigeria should wake up now for us to win the next gold medals in swimming. Aquatic Federation should wake up, and we should now learn to domesticate certain sports in certain regions in Nigeria. And when this riverine area can produce swimmers, the northerners can produce long distance marathon athletes. Football is general. So gymnastics, we in Edo State should take over gymnastics. You understand? So when I look at the kind of sports that other countries are winning medals, we can actually do well in those sports. And these are natural games that we can have. So I think the problem of sport in Nigeria now is that it's when the tournament notice has been served, we start preparing. No. After this Olympics, as we go back, as we welcome the thing, we should start preparing for the next Olympics. And that is the only way our number in the medal table can improve.
Bose Kafo is a 5-time Olympian in table tennis.
Now we have the pleasure on special report of having 5-time Olympian Bose Kafo with us to talk about the performance of Nigeria's contingent at the Paris 2024 Olympics. It's good to have you on the program today.
Thank you for having me.
Could we even start by giving credit to whom credit is due? In spite of the performance which has been described by many as dismal, by others as poor, and by even more people as not making it to at the level that we should be in sports in the country, the performances of teams like our basketball team that made it to the quarterfinals was certainly laudable, though we didn't get a medal. As far as the other genres are concerned, including table tennis, that seemed to be the order of the day. But for those girls and boys and ladies and gentlemen of the Nigerian sports contingent that did their best, they certainly deserve some commendation.
Yes, surely. The basketball team, they are actually phenomenal. They really pull out the massive string, massive performance against the rest of the world. Let us forget about the fact that they couldn't get to the medal table at this time, but something is there that we need to see that this particular team, if they are given the chance to move further, maybe we'll be singing like the gold medal. And I don't see anything wrong in the team. I hope we could keep this team together from the coaching aspect of it. Everything went so wonderfully right. And from a performance perspective, yes, there are some nutritional analysis that one could have done that would have highlighted that, okay, maybe the essence of throw, the essence of defense, the essence of rebounds, the essence of free throws, where to get it, how to get it, who is really marking out who. And then I'm very certain that the Americans are actually beatable. We could see that from the finals. They actually won just by a point, and our girls got into the games very late. And our girls' defense was actually better than the French defense, because the Americans, they were faster and our girls could absorb them. But because they got into the game very late, that means they have to be fighting from the back. They were fighting from the back. And I was so sure that if we would have heard the same ability of the French team, that we were empowered them, we would have defeated the Americans. So the girls really played very well. And I hope they could just take that ahead.
I will certainly agree with you on that point, and I'm sure anybody that watched those matches will do so as well. Which brings me to the next question, and that speaks to the fact that I'm sure it's not a contentious issue at all, the quality of the talent of Nigerian sportsmen and women all over the world in track and field, in other sports, in table tennis, where you've held sway. There is no doubt from nations across the world of the raw Nigerian talent that exists in this country, and for Nigerians who are competing for other countries under other countries' flags. Now, what do you make of that?
Yeah, there is one thing I always highlight, one particular aspect of it when it comes to performance. One, talent is very different from skill. Talent is like an inborn thing. Skills, we learn it. We have different type of skills. And from that skills, we have motor learning that goes with the skill. Nobody in this world will pull Nigeria back for the fact that we are very talented in any aspect, especially in sport. But the major part of it is that we are yet to articulate all those things together. What is happening? Don't we have good management, good administration, good coaches, good federation? And you cannot pull Nigeria back from the rest of the world. And when you're talking about all other athletes that we actually saw, we saw a lot of athletes from Nigeria competing against Nigerians who would have what must have happened that they couldn't participate for us. There are a lot of things, from the welfare package to administration to management to decision making. We need to respect these athletes when they decide that, okay, I want to participate against Nigeria for this reason, for that reason. If you will see let us deduce the fact that some are Nigerians and that we saw that participated for other countries. From my analysis, what happened within the continuum is very simple. They got better training, consistent training, effective training, monitored training. I would say better than us. You know, in sport, we do have a template, and that template is a foundation that we cannot get away from. You could see an athlete that, some Nigerian athletes that played for Canada, they competed for Germany and some for Spain. And we were saying, I think I know these athletes before. Those ones, they are stories. You want to look at it. What really happened that we cannot compete with them? Americans, for example, will be hosting the next Olympics, and they already have who will compete. They have started this training over 14 years, 16 years ago. For those, because they wanted to host it, and they started. So, I guess let us throw away the fact that many athletes we saw, they listed there, maybe 7 of them or more than 7 that participated for other countries. And then I don't see anything wrong in that. It's a decision.
You know what they say?
What do you have? Yes, what do you have? What you have is what you will talk about. Talk about those things that you can bring out. Look, we are more than 220 million. And people will be thinking about billions. But where and how will you articulate those amounts that will give you the output? Whatever it is about what we bring out from that, what you have. So those athletes, what they had, I have said it, continuous training, efficiency, efficacy, productized training, monitored, nurtured, and tapered, and then a lot when you're talking about it. Then you forget about the administration, you forget about the management. Then all those ones, you bring them together. That is why you can either do the systemic training or the holistic approach to the training. Remember that one will really interconnect, but the other might not have to interconnect. There are some that you need to deduce out. For example, when you have a long-term training, the interconnection is going to be when you have athletes that you have already gained, and along the line, you are now trying to see where can I remove this one, take this one, jettison this one. Then you bring them together in a robust manner that you will now have a real systemic, better training that you will now say that, yes, I have a team. Without that, it will be challenging to say you want to develop an athlete. What is sport development, for example? If you're saying you're going to the primary school, will you be able to tell the people of Nigeria that I'm going into the primary school, you made me a minister, I'm going into a primary school, in the next 4 years, there won't be Olympics for us. We won't be able to go to anywhere. In the next 8 years, we won't be able to go. In the next 12 years, then we might be thinking of something. Are we able to do that? Yes, we can do that. We have the ability to do that. And that is why you look at it, the holistic type of training, where you can interconnect many things. Because you know, along the 16 years, some will surely drop out. And those that you know that you are not in the nurturing aspect, that is where you bringing them in, you connect them together, you see who can fit in with this one, and until you have a standardized team that you say, I can win 6 gold medals. I can win 20 gold medals, because you would have nurtured them, would have followed them, you would have articulated good training with them. Otherwise, I guess we will be going back to the drawing board every day.
You know the saying, I was going to say, doing the same thing and expecting a different result, if it fails every time, is foolishness. And times without number, we are sounding like a broken record. Nigerians seem to be accused of poor preparation for the Olympic Games. You're competing with people that everybody knows have been competing since they were yay high, since they were children. They've been competing to prepare to get ready to compete at the Olympic Games. And then at the end of the day, you have Nigerians who are brought together, a mishmash of athletes from some of them across the world back to Nigeria for the training camp for something that other people have spent their whole lives preparing for. How do you think this can change?
Well, we talk just about periodization of training. And I will repeat it again. When you are periodizing training, you would name, maybe it's a micro, macro, and how long you want to do. You even in a long training, in a 16 years training, I may still have a 2 weeks that I can bring something out from it. And when you're talking about the fact that some athletes, they have been training for the lifelong, is because they specialize, you have a specialty. At times we generalize it. Then later it has to be specialized. But when you have a specialized training, that means I'm a table tennis player and I've been handed over to the NOC that this is what I want to do in the next 2 years. So they have to give me their own plan that will match my own plan as well, with my coach, with my management, with my admin. So it works together. You cannot have an athlete training for a long time without having the management, and the management, the admin is supposed to be doing the back work. And without that, no matter how you train, an athlete is doomed to fall or fail. But back to your question, you cannot have a training plan when you don't have athletes. You just said it, that it's like mismatch. No, what are you really looking for? The federation came together in order to represent Nigeria, to bring out the best. And I believe that is the aim of every federation, that when I become a member of the board of football, for example, I want to make sure that I participate in helping the athletes to do this by making a good decision.
Okay, Fanny, let me jump in here. Sorry, let me jump in here, Bosse. Let me jump in here. What you, as far as I'm concerned, you're a national treasure. Your 5-time experience at the Olympic Games representing Nigeria. What will it take, even though we know that the Chinese are such juggernauts at table tennis, what will it take for Nigeria to win a gold medal in table tennis in the next Olympics in Los Angeles? Is it possible?
Well,
is it possible? Could it happen?
It is very possible. You know the reason why it is very possible. Look at Aruna, for example. My late conversation with Aruna, he said he has been training with the Olympic Solidarity Money Fund for the past 10 years. And now he is 35 years old. Now look at it. So he started benefiting at the age of 25, which I would say it was a little bit late. And look at the 16-year-old boy from France. The 16-year-old boy from France that got into the semi-finals. 16-year-old. When I was playing in France, maybe it was just a year old or two. The family, I saw them on the screen, I knew them. Now, how come a 16-year-old could perform to that extent? Talking about the Chinese people, I don't know, always trained in China. So that means the boy might have been at the age of 6 years old and must have been benefiting from the likelihood of the IOC solidarity. Even though that it might be difficult for him, if he is in Nigeria, to get that opportunity. So meaning that 10 years program, a very effective 10 years program could just put you where Aruna is. For example, Aruna lost by little bit of error. If not, I am certain, I believe it so much that those guys that played in the finals, Aruna would have been able to give them the run for their money, because it was only the world number one that he has not beaten. So 10 years program, down the line, could be. But look at the Chinese. As far back as 4, 5, 6, 7 years, they would have been training some little kids that it would be difficult for some Nigerians to defeat. So if you have a 12-year-old boy or girl to go and play in Africa, definitely she will be the African number one. Mm-hmm. So you can see how much you will put into training. And when you're talking about spending money, we need to forget about whether they give somebody 8 million or so. 8 million is just like 8 billion could be a child play. For somebody like me, I may demand for 20 billion. And I will tell you, you give me 20 billion, I will give you 2 gold medals. If I know that is what I have to do, and I know where I would get it, then I will say, give me this money. And I would have demanded for that money in a long time. Not that I will come now and the commission is tomorrow, I will now be demanding for that amount of money. That is where
we'll have to leave it there. We'll have to leave it there, Bosek. Bosek, thank you so much for coming on Special Report. Your expertise is valued. As I said, you're a national treasure, and we thank you, and we hope that the next Olympic Games will be a much better outcome. Thank you for coming on Special Report.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me with you. It's a nice time again on the Channels TV.
It's not as though Nigeria never won a gold medal at the Olympics before, or even lacked the know-how to do so, which is why 2028 can't come fast enough for redemption. For Special Report, I'm Olumide Macaulay. Thank you for watching.